going to do a negative object. So we are going to do all four for a negative object. Okay, so I'm going to use, which one do you guys want me to do? The -5 or the -15? So we want to do 5? Actually, that's a good idea because then you'll know how to do the +5 and then, yeah, very smart. Okay, so the first one is going to be converging, keeping the same. And this is now going to be, my object is at same height. Okay. Now this is where the fun begins. Remember I made you draw this? And this is where that has a purpose. So for a converging lens, what did we say the principle will do? It has to go through the top and then it has to go through the focal, right? Remember that. But the light cannot come back from here, can it? So here's the trick. The light still comes through here. And it still goes through as if it's converging. It will come from that side, where the squiggly line is. Now, what does the chief do? This trips up a lot of people. It still has to go through the top here, correct? And it still has to go through the center here. So these are the 2 points it has to go through. So where will it come from? Exactly. And then extending it, kind of hard to draw, but bear with me. And it's going to go this way. See where the arrows are forming? Mm-hmm. They all have to, do you understand why I made that squiggly line now? Mm-hmm. To remind myself that light only comes from this side. Okay, what's next? Focal. So this is a lens. Which focal should it use? The one to the real side or the virtual side? It's already used up the one for the virtual side. To the real side, right? Okay, so what will it do? It still has to go through the top. And it has to go through the focal. Now, how do I make that? Has to go through here, but that's going to be virtual. And has to come through here. And then what will it do after it hits it? Hello. Has to go parallel, correct? Now, where do all three meet? Right back here, somewhere here, right? And that's where the image will be. Now, is this a real image or a virtual image? Not quite. It is a real image because this is the real side of a lens. So this is a virtual object that gives you a real image. How does that work? I'll explain to you next time how double lenses work. Okay. So a single lens, you don't get this with a single lens, okay. But you will have this is actually true. So you will have a virtual object that will give you a real image, and that you need two lenses. We'll do that on Thursday. Are we ready to do the next one? Yeah. Okay, now the next one is a diverging lens with a virtual object. So a diverging lens with a virtual object. Okay, so a diverging lens. See how much I have to think about this? It will be this one. and using the same criteria. Now, in this case, my object is at 5. Okay. Now, this is a diverging lens with a focal length. Focal will be negative. And remember, I need to draw my squiggly line to remind myself where the rays are coming from. Okay, so my parallel ray has to come from what side? Coming in this way? And then because it is a diverging lens, it will use this side and go away. The first ray you have to draw, it has to be drawn to the edge, to the tip of it. Now, this is a lens. The chief, what will it do? It has to go through the center and this point, correct? So what will it do? The same thing it did up there? Of course, you guys will have ruler, so you can do a better job. Now, what about focal? Which focal point will it use? It's a lens. 1 or 2. So let's call this one 1 or this and this one 2. Which one will it use? 1 or 2? 2. Very good. Be very careful. This is going to be going very, very steep. Yeah. Something like that. And then this is where it's going to be. This is coming in that way and going out that way. And if I was very careful, which I wasn't, which you guys have to be, this is the point where they will meet. Now, is this going to be a real image or a virtual image? This is a virtual object for a lens, and it's on the real side of the lens. So again, it's a virtual object that gives you a real image. So again, this is a virtual object that gives you a real image.